All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. As on this Tuesday, John Lynch and Brock Purdy both stopped by on KMBR, and Brian Baldinger's got some interesting breakdowns, and we'll have some interesting other notes as well. Welcome to a big Tuesday update on the Krug Show, which is brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Corte Madera. They're in Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week, from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. They're opening a third location in Petaluma. Join us on Sunday, December 7th, next Sunday, for a Krug Show meet and greet in Corte Madera. We'll be there all day watching football. Stop by. It'll be an open house. Have some barbecue, win some prizes, maybe win a Ricky Pearsall signed mini helmet. That will be the big prize on Sunday. Join us in Corte Madera for our Krug Show meet and greet. All right, John Lynch stopped by on KMBR this morning and had a number of interesting things to say. One of the most exciting things is that the Niners brass is really excited about Alfred Collins and his upside potential. And this is what Lynch said. He says, what I can tell you is that I think we're going to have a really, really high-end player for a long time in the middle of the D-line. He's playing at a really high level right now. So I'll tell you, Alfred Collins is one of my favorite guys to talk to in the locker room. I was talking to him about the A&M Texas game, and he's like, yeah, man, Texas is taking down the Aggies. And sure enough, they did. But Alfred's a really, hardworking guy, wants to get better, wants to be great, will work at it. Really what you need is the ability, and then you need the motivation. And wasn't sure if he had either, but he has huge ability. And you can see that he gets better and better and better. He plays with more leverage. He's smart. He gets better as the season goes on. He improves every day. But then you also have, football's important to him. He went up to Nick Bosa and he's like, hey, Nick, I want to copy everything you do as far as your diet and your workout plans and everything. I want to be great. And so Nick's kind of taken Alfred under his wing a little bit and shown him some of the way of greatness, as you would say. And Collins has huge talent. Gigantic man. Who's very, very fluid and has good movement ability. The sky is the limit for him. And to hear the 49ers brass and Lynch specifically speak about, how he's playing, how he's improving, how he's getting better all the time and working at it. That is music to our ears because it sounds like Alfred Collins is going to be a keeper. And I'll say this, CJ West is as well. So you got two really good foundation pieces in the middle of your D-line in this last draft. So that was the first Lynch thought. Then he was asked about Brandon Aiyuk. John, what can you tell us about the Brandon Aiyuk situation? He said, realistic? I'm not sure. Is it realistic that Brandon can come back? I think was the question. He said, realistic? I'm not sure. Hopeful? Yeah. I think that's where I'd leave that. We're a better football team when Brandon is out there, but that's probably what it is, hope right now. So, Brandon Aiyuk's not coming back. I would be shocked if he comes back. Where's his motivation to come back? And it doesn't seem like he's getting any closer. The season's dwindling away. I think that's just kind of what you say. Hey, yeah, we're hopeful. But is he going to get back out there? It doesn't sound like it. The more these quotes, the further we go in the calendar, he's just weeks away and he could have his window opened at any point. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, we took away all of his guaranteed money, but that was months ago and he's over it. And, it's like, it just doesn't sound like Aiyuk is coming back. And my guess is he never plays another down in a 49er uniform, that they either trade him or release him in the offseason. But Lynch, at least publicly, he's saying, hey, yeah, we're hopeful, man. He means so much. Oh, this guy would really help us. But I just get the feeling that there's some backstory here that's going to prevent him from playing this year. I have no sources on this, but it just seems like we've gone from, yeah, he's getting better, to we could open his practice window at any point, to the revelation that all of his guaranteed money is gone and that a divorce between the two sides is looming. And now it's like, well, we may kiss and make up. And I think that's all just leverage talk because they don't want to release him. They want to trade him. That would be my guess. If you said, what's your guess? My guess is they don't want to release him. They know that there are teams that want him. Now that there's no guaranteed money on his deal, he's more attractive to those teams. And I think the 49ers are going to either spot him in a game at the end of the year or not play him at all. And then, but like talk up the fact that they still want him and try to trade him in the offseason. That would be my guess. That would be my guess, but it's all just a guess. Lynch was also asked about Cle Ferrell. And man, the Niners have to be pleased with Ferrell. He's played 4 games. He's got 4 sacks. Lynch said he's like a sack master. He's all over the field. Cleveland's playing at a high level. He had 9 tackles the other day, and that's rare for a D lineman to go along with 2 sacks. He's our player of the week on our defense, and he's our wall here. He's on our wall here that we do. He's been outstanding. So there's no question. I mean, 9 tackles for a defensive end shows hustle and desire and want, and those are all great traits. The Niners may have lucked out here with Cle Ferrell. His very first practice, he looked great. I mean, they signed him. He walked out there. He hadn't played, and he looked amazing. I mean, I don't know if it's just because he was fresh or what, but I mean, he looked good immediately in practice. I remember watching that first practice going, whoa, this guy was on the street. This guy looks like the best defensive end they have right now. He was on the street, but you know what? He was. And he plays really hard. And I'll tell you, from talking to Cle Ferrell, he's made some money. He's played some games. He's been a star in college. He was a top 5 pick. He's gotten a lot of the things that he wanted to get out of the NFL, except he wants a ring. And one of the great things about Cle Ferrell at Clemson, and the reason Mike Mayock took him in the top 5, is because of the intangibles. He's a leader. He's tough. He'll play the run. A lot of defensive ends who sack master guys just want to, play the edge and sell out for sacks. They don't want to play the run. Play the run. You got to dip my shoulder in there and put my head in there against some 230-pound back, and I got all kinds of linemen falling into my legs. You know what? No thanks. No thanks. Let somebody else do that. But Cle Ferrell is a dog, and he will battle against the run. And, Lynch just said it. It's like, hey, this guy, he's been outstanding, and he has been. He's been absolutely outstanding. Lynch on the NFC being a wide open deal. Niner fans are feeling a lot of hope as we hit December here because of the way the Niners are starting to look and the way the rest of the conference is looking. And Lynch said this year it's anyone's championship. Think about that. I agree with him. I totally agree with him. He says it's going to come down to who's going to have some good fortune in terms of being healthy at the right time. I think Kyle has done an incredible job leading us. We've got enough in our locker room, and I believe that we can contend. Yeah, you can contend. Can you win it all? That's the question I would have. Can you win it all? And I think you got a shot. It's more of a puncher's shot than anything, but you got a shot. And then Lynch also was asked about the trade deadline, and he's got to be feeling pretty good. Sky Moore's looking great. Brian Robinson's looking great. Cle Ferrell's looking great. Keon White's looking great. And Lynch talked about all those guys today on the radio. He mentioned that the team had a clear vision when they traded for Keon White, that the Pats were using him as an outside rusher, and he just is more of an inside rusher. And Pats have a 3-4 defense. They were using Keon White as an stand-up outside linebacker in a 3-4, and that's not his spot. He's 280 pounds. He's a one gap and go, penetrate and get up the field lineman, and that's why he fits in the wide 9. And the Niners like him as an interior rusher. So, he's doing well both as an outside rusher and an inside rusher. He's been really, really good. But right now, between Keon White, Cle Ferrell, Sky Moore, and Brian Robinson, all those guys are contributing quite well. So that was Lynch. He stopped by on KMBR. Then Brock Purdy stopped by as well. And he was asked about having Mac Jones in the quarterback room. And he's like, he's the man. I think our relationship and us getting close throughout the year and both of us just having each other's back, the quarterback position, people can make storylines about who the next guy is. But to have both of us understand the position, the highs and the lows that come with it, it's been pretty cool. Him going out there and keeping our team alive, making plays and balling out, it was really cool to see. So, Purdy's has all the right things to say. I'm sure it's a competitive situation. I'm sure they're not best of buds. They both want the same thing. But you know what? There's this thing called mental maturity. And Brock has it, and so does Jones. Jones has been a patriot. Right there next to ESPN. He knows how to deal with the media. He played at Alabama. He knows how to deal with the media. Jones has said all the right things all year long because he understands how the media works. The media is not your friend. They're trying to divide you. They're not trying to bring you together. And you want to stay together. And he's done a great job of resisting all temptation to say, even accidentally, the wrong thing. Then Purdy was asked about Brandon Aiyuk, and he said, all the contract stuff has nothing to do with me, but it does suck because I love BA, and all the moments we've had on the field together have been awesome. It sucks right now. It's all gray area, and we don't really know what's going on. That's all I can say to that. So Purdy kind of took the high road on the Aiyuk thing because he doesn't know if Aiyuk can be on the team or not. That's the thing about Brock. He always seems like he says the right thing. I mean, that's basically the right answer right there. And then Purdy was asked, of course, about his toe. And this might have been the best part of the interview. He said it felt great. The toes felt great. It's gotten better every week. I'm out there playing and just worrying about my assignments, details, and throws. I'm not even thinking about my toe. And that's what it looked like. To me, that second play of the game when Isaiah McGuire got penetration and Purdy spurted away from him and showed that next level movement ability that is his calling card. I thought that was a great moment. That kind of showed that Brock can protect himself and that Brock's healthier than maybe we think. So that was a great sign, an absolute great sign. And he says he's not thinking about the toe, which is great. And then Murph asked him about, he was on the KNBR morning show with Murph and Marcus. Murph asked him, is the Super Bowl run on the table, Brock? What do you think? And Purdy said, it's got to be one game at a time, which is the right mindset, man. That is the right mindset. He says, it's got to be one game at a time. That is the goal for sure. But can we just go with this next game and the one after that and the one after that? We can't overlook anyone. We've had some guys go down, but man, it's football. We have that kind of blue collar chip on the shoulder team. We'll see at the end of the year at the end of this thing where we're at. So there you go. Brock Purdy weighing in on KNBR. And the Niners think they got a shot because they got a shot. All right, a couple other 49er notes. Man, all this talk about Purdy and Jones and the defense and, Aiyuk and all this stuff, it's kind of overshadowing the big story of the Niners, which is that Christian McCaffrey is having a historic season. I mean, listen to some of these numbers that Adam Schefter put out today. McCaffrey now has a league-leading 1,655 scrimmage yards this year, 849 rushing, 806 receiving. He's the third player in NFL history with at least 800 rush yards and 800 receiving yards in his first 13 games of a season, joining Marshall Faulk in 1998 and Roger Craig in 1985. Another reason that Roger should be in the Hall of Fame. It's the third season in McCaffrey's career with 800 rush yards and 800 receiving yards, tied with Marshall Faulk for the most such seasons in NFL history. CMC's on pace for his second career season with 1,000, which he also did in 2019. He'd be the first player in NFL history to do it multiple times. His 85 receptions are fourth in the NFL, 31 more than any other running back through week 13. Think about that. That's big. It's his fifth NFL season with at least 80 receptions, tied with Marshall Faulk for the most by any running back in NFL history. Safe to say, CMC is on one, having a phenomenal year. Why do Niner fans have such enthusiasm about the Niners? Because they're getting guys back. They're playing great. They got the bye week, and they're getting guys back. Tatum Bethune, Sam Aquino, Yatir Gross-Matos, according to Kyle Shanahan, all have a good chance to return after the bye. Eddie Pinheiro is expected to return after the bye as well. Nick Martin eventually is coming back. He's in the concussion protocol, so we may not see Nick Martin. We may wind up seeing Eric Kendricks instead. We'll see how that goes. Also, Kyle Juszczyk's got a fractured ribs, and he'll be evaluated after the bye week. And the bad news is Ben Bartch, foot sprain, possible Liz Frank is going on IR, done for the year. Man, I feel bad for Bartch because he was playing well. And the injury bug has bit him many, many times. According to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, if the Niners do release Brandon Aiyuk, watch for the Commanders to pounce. Here's the quote. He says he's close with quarterback Jaden Daniels, his former teammate at Arizona State, and general manager Adam Peters, a John Lynch disciple from his time in San Francisco. He understands the Aiyuk experience well. So, yeah, I mean, Thanks, Jeremy Fowler, for that one. I think that was a Captain Obvious one, but still, maybe that it wasn't obvious around the league. Now it is. It was definitely obvious to Niner fans that the Commanders are likely his next home. That would be the guess. Let's hear from Baldy. I'm going to share the screen and play you a couple Baldies. It wouldn't be a great video unless we could drop a Baldy in there every now and then. And Baldy's the best. I mean, he is really, really good. He's one of my favorites. And the first one is let's see. Yeah, let's go. Let's go with this one. Here is Brian Baldinger on the biggest pass play of the game, which was at the end of the first half. The Niners got the ball back with like 30 seconds left, and they had to decide: you're going to kneel on it and go into the locker room down, down a point because they were down 8-7, or do you go for it? And Kyle Shanahan said, "Let's go for it." And then Purdy hit Ricky Pearsall, and they got a nice first down, gave him a little room, a little momentum, and then Purdy went up top to George Kittle, who made this amazing grab. And the defender pulled it out at the last second, but it was a catch. And here's what Baldy had to say about it. Be nice if we could hear it. There we go. There we go. All right. Take two. Here is what Baldy had to say about it.
The biggest pass play of the day for the 49ers went from Purdy to Kittle with 15 seconds to go in the half. Purdy beating Ronnie Hickman right there. Excellent concentration on the ball. Let's take one more look at this thing right here. Because honestly, 49ers are down 8-7 at this point. 8-7 with 15 seconds to go. And the biggest pass play of the day, 33 yards from Purdy to Kittle. Yes, that was a catch all the way. You watch the concentration of George Kittle. Led the 49ers in catches. Cradles that ball in there. Hickman trying to rip it out. We got cameramen all over it right here on a lousy day in Cleveland. Big catch. 49ers go to Cleveland against a great defense and get the W.
If there's one thing that stood out this summer, there's always one or two things that stand out at training camp. If there was one thing that stood out this year at training camp, it was that. It was Brock Purdy hooking up with George Kittle. And they just had a great Purdy had a great connection with Kittle going this summer. When the Broncos rolled in and they played really tight, stifling defense. I mean, the Broncos have a great defense. Nick Bonito off the edge, DJ Jones, all these guys up front, Jedi Barron, Surtain. I mean, Hafanga on the back end. I mean, they got good talent. They got really, really good talent. Even when Denver came to town and the defense, there were some really tight windows. Brock Purdy found George Kittle at will all summer. And I got to think that if the Niners get into a big moment situation in the playoffs, what are you going to look for? Brock Purdy to George Kittle. CMC is going to be the guy he hands it to, but when he's looking for that big pass play, man, he's looking for George. And they have a great connection right now. And the two of them they're in sync. They're absolutely in sync. Let's go one more Baldy here. We got another Baldy that's pretty good. This is on the Purdy touchdown. Let's hear what Baldy had to say about Purdy's touchdown. Here it is. There we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, hold on. Once again, volume's down. All right, here we go. Brian Baldinger.
Here's a read option right here. Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. The Browns blow this here. Like you've got one guy for the back and one guy for the quarterback. So Myles Garrett is coming off the edge right here. He's got the dive. Diabate has got the quarterback. They got it set up, but they blow it here. They both take the dive, and Brock Purdy runs in for his first rushing touchdown of the year to give the Niners the lead right here, 17-8. Like, that's just not smart football by the Browns.
Yeah, and it's funny too. It's like, what are you defending here? You've got a ton of space over to off your right shoulder, and nobody's out there, and you're just going to be the guy chasing McCaffrey on this play. Are you really going to make this tackle? Mohamed Diabate was a great player at Utah, and he's athletic as heck. But and he's got a lot of talent. He's been a stack backer. He's been a defensive end. He's kind of a combo. But I mean, bro, balance the field. I mean, at best, you're going to be some guy who's assisting others on the tackling of CMC, and that's if CMC has the ball. But if Purdy has the ball, and he did, it's a walk-in touchdown, and it was. So sometimes you got to play your keys and be a little smarter there. Baldy breaking that down expertly right there. A couple other notes on the Niners in this video that we want to throw out there. Couple interesting notes. One is the playoff picture. Right now, if the playoffs began today, and obviously they don't, New England's the 1 seed in the AFC, and Chicago's the 1 seed in the NFC. And those are the two teams that would have the buys, and everybody else would play. And here would be the matchups. In the AFC would be Chargers, Baltimore in Baltimore, Colts, Jaguars in Jacksonville, because Jacksonville wins the division, Buffalo, Denver in Denver. I think Buffalo could probably beat Denver in Denver. I think Jacksonville would probably win at home over Indianapolis, but you never know. I think that game's a coin flip. I think the Chargers would probably beat. That would be Jim Harbaugh against John Harbaugh in the playoffs. Whew, that would be good. I like Jim on the road. Give me the Chargers. I mean, I know Herbert's got a busted hand on his non-throwing hand, but man, that would be a good one. So that would be Chargers moving on. Let's say Jaguars moving on and Buffalo moving on. That would set up a Buffalo-New England showdown, and the Chargers would take on Jacksonville. And I'd probably go with New England over Buffalo, but man, that would be a hell of a playoff game. Now in the NFC, the Bears are the 1 seed, so they get the bye. Seattle's the 5. They would play in Tampa. Green Bay's the 6. They would play in Philly. The Niners are the 7. They would play in LA. Now, the Niners have already beaten the Rams in LA once, but man, that's a tough draw. Green Bay and Philly, I'll take Philly. Seattle at Tampa, I'll take Tampa. I think Tampa will somehow find a way to beat them at home. And so if the Niners in that scenario got by the Rams, they would go to Chicago and they'd play the Bears at Soldier Field, and Tampa would play the Eagles in Philly. And then I would think Philly would probably beat Tampa. I think the Niners would beat the Bears, and then it's the Niners in Philadelphia for the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. Could the Niners beat the Rams, the Bears, and the Eagles back to back to reach Levi Stadium in Super Bowl 60? Sounds like they're going to have to. At least as of today, that's the way it pans out. Now, it could change and probably will change. But right now, that's what it's looking at. As far as the Niners' remaining schedule, they get the bye week, then they're home against the Titans, at the Colts on Monday Night Football. Now, this is the right time to play the Colts, right? DeForest Buckner's on IR. The quarterback's banged up. They're not necessarily playing all that well. Then that's national TV. Niners-Colts in Indy. Then the next week, national TV, Sunday Night Football, Niners and Bears, possibly for the 1 seed. Possibly. We'll talk about that more in a second. And then the last week of the season, Niners Seahawks at Levi's. Niners will be wearing the black uniforms that they showed us early in the year that look kind of, I thought they looked bad, but we'll see. Niners still have a chance to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. I mean, they still have a shot. It's pretty amazing. Really pretty amazing if you think about it. The Niners are currently the 7 seed, and if this weekend's going to be something to watch as well. Chicago, Green Bay, and Seattle, Atlanta, and Rams, Arizona are the games to really hone in on. If the Bears win, Chicago wins, then the Niners pass Green Bay and move into the number 6 seed. If Green Bay wins, the Niners pass Chicago and move to the number 6 seed. If somehow Green Bay and Chicago tie, the Niners pass Green Bay in the NFC record department, moving to the 6th seed. And regardless of the result, the Niners are going to jump one spot ahead of whoever loses that game. Now, Seattle and the Rams, if Seattle loses to Atlanta, the Niners advance to the 5 seed. If the Rams lose to Arizona, the 49ers advance to the 5 seed. If Seattle and LA lose, the Niners jump all the way to the number 2 seed. The 49ers could not play this weekend. They don't play this weekend. And they could wind up as the number 2 seed by the end of the weekend. By the way, top 5 offenses in the NFL and EPA per play since week 9. And this is outside of garbage time. Rams are 1, Seattle's 2, 49ers are 3, Bears 4, Packers 5. Top 5 in success rate since week 9. Rams 1, Seahawks 2, Niners 3, Bears 4, Cowboys 5. And by the way, these are the top 5 offenses in the NFL, not the NFC. I know they're all NFC teams, but this is in the NFL. How about that? All of the top offensive teams are in the NFC. If the Rams lose just one more game, they play the Cardinals, the Lions, the Seahawks, the Falcons, and then the Cardinals again. And the Niners win out and let's say beat, well, not win out. Let's say the Rams lose just one more game to either the Cardinals, the Lions, the Seahawks, the Falcons, or one more against the Cardinals. And the Niners beat Tennessee, Indy, and the Bears. Week 18 would be the Niners against the Seahawks, and potentially it could be for the NFC West division title and the number 1 seed. Now, Green Bay would have to be involved in that scenario as well. I think they would have to lose a game in there. But, wow, it's all out there. It's all out there for the 49ers. And it's just a matter of can they go get it. All right, we should tell people this 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Also, I want to throw out thanks to our good friends at Pig and a Pickle. Check them out in Emeryville, Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. And also Sharp Corners, sports cards and collectibles, 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove along the Monterey Peninsula. Anthony Catania's at 831-521-5264. And thanks to Sharp Corners for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show as well. And thanks to you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.